and did fairly well at the national qualifier with it, I should say.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Yep, I know.
So Andrew Irons was the individual who we featured in the written coverage of the previous round. So it'll be interesting to see how this comes out. So it looks like Robert Boyajian has won the die roll and opens up, of course, Dragon's Ravine. A very ideal opening hand.
Yep.
Pitching title for its effect. See, this is it. Going first. Look at that. Oh, we have an emptiness on top of the deck. Real clear decision to be main decking at least one copy of the emptiness. He pitches Tempest with the effect, so well set up. Banishing 2 for, oh man, Summoning Blaster. This is a tremendous opening hand for Robert Boyajian. Looks like he'll be searching at least a Corseska and perhaps, yep, another copy of title. He's not running into the Mythic Dragon, so he's really just constrained to title throughout this tournament.
Yep, that's what I was looking here real quick. I was just seeing if he was running, I didn't know if he was running the Mythics at all. So.
No, he certainly is not.
Yep, just title and Corseska.
And yeah, he go ahead and synchro summons into a Spark Dragon and sets, oh, look at that, he knows what that, yep, at least 2 back, yep, 2 back rows, so ideal opening hand, again, one of those Stardust openings, multiple back rows. It's really been the progression of the format. It went from
not many, very solid opening.
not many traps to so many traps. Mm-hmm. So let's see how Andrew can react to this. If he can.
And the good thing for Andrew is he does main deck Forbidden Lances, so if those traps are alive, in which running Double Phoenix Wing, Wind Blast, and, well, that's really the only offensive traps that Robbie actually runs in his main deck.
Yeah,
so
interesting. He decides to play Mystical Space Typhoon and Stardust Spark. Oh, jeez.
Double Typhoon.
Yeah. Double Typhoon. So, yeah, he tries, and Stardust Spark still hasn't used the effect. Return to a different dimension was chained to the second MST. Mm-hmm. You see what this is going to be able to do is during the end phase, he'll be able to bounce the Tempest and the title to his hand. So it's essentially...
Assuming they're on the field.
No. They just... Assuming they're on the field, yes, of course. But he has to protect one with Stardust. It'll be interesting. So let's see what he does now. He summons
It's definitely very interesting that he gave away half his life points without... well, I couldn't know for sure if he knows whether Andrew's playing...
It's too much value. Not, like I said, life points versus getting yourself into a position. Life points don't matter if you can add those 2 cards to your hand and presumably be in such a position where it's difficult to lose. So he'll be going here into, of course, Lord Ophion. And we'll see if Robert Boyajian will be able to come back from this. I mean... Of course, Ophion will be able to kill the Spark Dragon, and then the Tempest and the title go to his hand. So it really depends on what those other 2 cards in his hand are.
Yep. Now, one thing to note, Andrew Irons, I think he just searched it, yes, and he main decks 2 Infestation Terminus. Is the one that banishes an evil storm that you control and send 2 cards from the field back to the deck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or to the hand, I should say.
Yep. So now it'll kill the Spark Dragon. Use the effect to protect it, of course, as we know would happen. So, yeah.
So, and he's got that and a Rhoda in hand with a caster. So he's guaranteed an Ophion next turn if something happens that gets rid of the one that he has.
They'll jump to his hand, and it'll be Robbie's turn. So it'll be interesting. If he has access to Blaster, he'll be able to... I mean, it'll just be interesting here. Really depends. I mean, it looks like he has Book of Moon in his hand, so... Andrew Irons might be in a very difficult situation if Robert...
He might, but it also depends on whether Robert reads that the bluffed Rhoda is the Infestation Infection. Because if it's the Infection, the Pandemic.
But a lot of the times if you can't play around this card anyway, you just go for it, and that might be the situation Robert... I mean, Robert's going to make a really intelligent play, I assume, and get himself in a position where he can play around some no-out back rows. The Infestation Terminus is one of them, but if he doesn't put any more monsters on the field and just attacks and Book of Moons, like, what position is Andrew going to be in? It'd be interesting. Like, he would have to play Book of Moon before attacking, so play around Infestation Pandemic, of course. But, so let's see what he does. Oh, he just... Interesting play. He T-sets. Passes over to Andrew. Perhaps he's trying to bait him into investing more cards on the field or something. It's interesting to see what this will be about.
Yep. And...
So he ends up detaching, so...
He does main deck a Fossil Dyna.
Yeah, so Robert Boyajian, I mean, I tried to keep some of them secret, but yeah, he is in fact main decking a Fossil Dyna Patch of Lavalo. So, an interesting choice from Robert Boyajian's deck. Just reading Spark Dragon, making sure he understands. I mean, it's going to be in a position where Andrew Irons has to put another monster on the field to kill the Spark Dragon if he ever wants to get it off the field, because he can just continually protect it. So let's see what he does. He summons Catter into, looks like Kirkian. Oh yeah, this is fantastic. If this goes through,
Yeah, he's in a really solid position. And like I said, the only offensive trap that Robbie runs is the Phoenix Wing Wind
it's
Blast.
the only defensive trap, yeah, right?
Yep. He plays Vanity's Emptiness, a Wabaku, a Sixth Sense, Return for the Different Dimension, and 2 Trap Stuns.
Yeah, I mean, Vanity's Emptiness is a defensive card, and then Wabaku is also important. I mean, that's another one of the interesting cards that he's playing. I was hoping we'd see it before we spoiled it, but yeah, he's playing a copy of Wabaku. That's the second round in a row we featured someone with that in the main deck.
Yep.
So Andrew's in a difficult position here, deciding exactly what he's going to do. It looks like conducting another Exceed Summon into, is that another, yep, that's another Lord Ophion, and Boyajian has no response. So this is huge. I mean, if he had a Wing Blast or something to stop that, presumably he would have, he may, the problem is, because he searched Terminus, the first Ophion, it gives off the impression that he might already have Pandemic.
Yep.
So, the redundancy of having Pandemic, Burst, Pandemic, Terminus might make it seem like Robert just has the read that he already had Pandemic and that he didn't want to waste a Wing Blast on the second Ophion. So
now he has the double Pandemic in hand. He has the Rhododown and the Infestation Terminus. So he's in a pretty good position. Now, if it is the Fossil Dyna, that will obviously hurt.
Oh, that would be insane if this is Fossil Dyna face down. Oh, man, that would be nuts. Oh, it is. Fossil Dyna. Oh, man, look at this. Incredible.
Yep.
We see it.
And now it's in damage calculation, so he cannot send those monsters or use Infestation Terminus to do anything with it.
Yeah.
So now,
unbelievable.
I'm pretty sure that just lost the game for Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, look at that.
There's not much that he can do at this point.
I was very excited to see that.
And Robert's going to
take over the game now.
Yep. I mean, he can use Infestation Terminus on Heliotrope, but that doesn't really do much.
Up 7 star. Yeah, very good position now for Robert Boyajian. So, yeah, look at that. The card I wanted to see. I didn't want to spoil it before it hit Fossil Dyna Patch of the File. It makes an appearance here round 3 in Worcester, Massachusetts. Taking out 2 copies of Evil's Form Ophion. That is a dramatic shift. So now, yes, we see here the Terminus. Just a quick clarification for Robert Boyajian to understand exactly what that card does. It'll be bouncing Stardust Spark Dragon somewhere back to the extra deck and Ravine to the hand. Presumably Boyajian used Spark Dragon on perhaps his back row. I'm not entirely sure. There's no exact clarification of that, but I'm not sure it's going to matter if Andrew Irons decides to randomly Mystical Space Typhoon that this turn.
At this point, Robert's in a very good position to just go for game.
I mean, people in the chat are talking about Fossil Dyna being a unique tech choice. Well, I mean, for what it's worth, I definitely trust Robert Boyajian's understanding of what he wants to be doing today.
Yep.
So, I mean, people stop playing Card Trooper. What are you going to do in the mirror match if your opponent just summons Fossil Dyna? There are outs to it, but not nearly as much as you would think.
Yeah, they have a few spells and traps here and there, and then they have Blaster.
Yeah,
it's really
outside
of having the Card Trooper.
Yeah, it's a Trap Stun, or it's a Vanity's Emptiness that isn't Trap Stun. It looks like, what's that going to be on the table? Making a decision here. You see, Robert Boyajian is another methodical player, but plays at a pace that is healthy. And
absolutely.
I mean, he's methodical. He understands. He's looking through all the plays, but it's definitely clear that he knows that he needs to play at a reasonable pace, especially with this type of deck. So is that an Ancient Fairy Dragon? Yep.
Yep.
I love the Ancient Fairy Dragon in this deck. The plays you can do are just so nifty. That was such an interesting inclusion once people started to realize the interactions of Ancient Fairy Dragon with this entire archetype in Dragon Ravine.
I believe we can actually thank Billy for that, since he's the one that popularized it with his Trigon Dragons.
I mean, yeah, but I think other players knew. But I mean, people always want to give credit to one single player, but I think the community as a whole really can come up with certain things. I mean, sure, I won't deny that, but absolutely. Absolutely. One way or another, it's become popular. Maybe at the end of the day, we'll see Fossil Dyna Patch of the File become popular. So it looks like What is this going on here?
Making some
Oh, yeah,
tokens.
absolutely. He's making some tokens. Yep. Andrew
Gonna
Ryan said
destroy
no
one of those.
response to the Draco sack.
Yep, and there goes
Oh,
the
he's just going
Robo.
to show the bottomless and then just scoop it up. So that's it. Robo Boyajian has won the first game.
Yep, and that was a
Very
unfortunate
interesting. I
turn of
mean,
events
the
for
fossil Dyna
Andrew.
Postula Fire was very, very detrimental. So
Absolutely. So
let's take a look at what we think what's going to happen in the side decks.
in this, with Andrew, it's very straightforward. He's got Flying Seas, not going to see those. He's got Trigodias for OTKs. I don't think we're going to see those. He does have Electric Viruses, Imperial Iron Wall, and
Triple Max.
and the Max Seas are probably going to be the things that I would see him coming in the most.
So for Robert, that looks like 3XYZ Encore. Of course, that's an obvious one.
Yep.
More
And
Fossil Fatula Fala.
The Fencing Fire Ferrets
Oh,
are
yeah,
also
yeah,
what
yep,
we're
absolutely. We're
going
going to get to that one too. Perhaps some copies of Mystical Space Typhoon as well.
And he could even side in the Electric Viruses to get it to pull over the Ophion and tribute something off.
I mean, I don't think he would do that, but it's possible. They see there's so many cards in here. I mean, he has Skill Drain too. There's so many cards he'd want to side that I highly doubt he has enough space to put those in. So there'll be some amount of these cards coming in, but definitely like Electric Viruses of the lower amounts. It's possible though. It's definitely possible. Ooh, and interesting. Robert's playing 3 copies of Draco Sack. I've never seen that before. Mm-hmm. That is a commitment to Draco Sack.
Absolutely. Well, Draco Sack's a good card to commit to.
And Stardust Spark Dragon.
And that's something that we've seen that's kind of been fairly common. Wasn't it? Klaus was the one that went Stardust and Stardust Spark, I believe.
Yeah.
No, it was Klaus or Leverett.
I think it might have been Leverett on them. I forget. One of them, yeah, we did see on the first very few turns.
Yep.
Very interesting opening with both of them there. Very difficult to come back from. So both players are finishing up their side deck, and we'll be jumping right into game 2 with plenty of time left on the clock here. Perhaps we can have one of them in for an interview. It'd be certainly interesting to make a note about either way what the emotions were like on either side of that Fossil Dyna flip, which was quite interesting.
I definitely think that was the thing that Andrew is expecting to see the least
of
attacking.
Of any card you said, I mean, in this match, like maybe Card Trooper, I mean, and that's not even played anymore, like let alone Fossil Dyna.
No, we say Card Trooper's not played, but Robert here is main decking 2 cards.
Oh, look at that. Well,
so.
The consensus has been recently not to, but, I love Card Trooper.
Now, this is actually really interesting because last night in our room, we were talking with Scott Page, who was debating between Scarecrow and Battle Fader. Every single Dragon deck list that I've seen that's run one of them has been running Battle Fader.
Yeah, that's what Robert's doing. Now, the reasoning behind it, maybe we can perhaps have one of the other players explain it, but there are some interactions with Star Reader and whatnot that make it so that Battle Fader's
exactly.
Okay, so looks like they're almost done side decking. So we'll be able to jump right back into coverage of Game 2 here. Ultra Reality Games Circuit Series in Worcester, Massachusetts. We are, of course, in round 3. I'm Joe Giolando, joined by Kaylin Nelson. We are looking at just about 693 people watching the stream right now. So, like I said, about every round we've been creeping closer, 100 by 100.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we can get up to 1,000 plus soon.
That's the hope. And that would be absolutely amazing. Now, we do have about 26 minutes left on the main round for the regular game, but do bear in mind that live stream matches are always usually 4 or 5 minutes behind just because we need to give them a little bit more time to get there and get set up. So we have about 30 minutes left on the round. And it looks like they're about to get started. They're just shuffling up. And we'll be back here in just a second with the round.
So, of course, largest Ultra Reality Game Circuit Series of all time. 439 players last I checked with late registers. It might push up about 440. That would be fantastic. But looks like Andrew and Robert are just about done. They've done side decking, just finishing up the shuffling. So.
Yep.
Of course, Robert's just hoping that no Ophion. He's been hitting
That's always the hope whenever you're going against Evil Swarms.
Yep, one-time dealer, no Ophion. That's just all he's saying in his head right now. We'll see how this works. All right, of course, Andrew will be going first. Let's see if he has the opportunity to drop Ophion on the field.
Looks like he opened 6 cents and a few other trap cards.
Oh, yeah, this is an interesting one.
Deck Devastation Virus to hit the small guys.
Yep, Cather and Ophion. That's, of course, not what Robert was hoping to see, but...
He did side in Maxis, it looks like.
Oh, I mean, naturally. That's one of the first cards. Maybe we can get a better look at his deck. Oh, no, of course, Infestation Pandemic's the first card on top, so we won't really get to see much about what's in there. And is that 4 back rows? Yeah, I mean, that looks like a good hand to me. All right, let's see how Robert can figure this out.
And this is one of the scariest things to look at
Oh,
whenever
I
you're
mean,
playing any deck that's weak to Ophion.
absolutely.
I mean, just in general, this is one of the scariest things to look at because you have a monster that's essentially immune to spells and traps. You have 3 other back row that you have to tear through. You don't know which one is the massive Forbidden Lance.
It's tough. I mean, let's see here. He's able to resolve a Ravine, which is, I mean, definitely a step in the right direction. Pitching, title, sending Redux. So, making some progress here. Let's see. He has 2 copies of Ravine. That's really not what you want to see in your hand here. Oh boy, 6 cents during the end phase. This might be a quick game.
Oh, and
Oh,
there's
he's
the
hit
6
6.
cards.
Well, that's fantastic.
And this just became what Fraser likes to call an ignorant game.
Yeah, that. Interesting. Well, this game has been fair. Yep, yeah, that's...
That is exactly why this card was printed to begin with and made legal in our neck of the woods. It's absolutely fantastic. Now, someone mentioned in the chat that they thought that we had forbid 6 cents from play after a long debate between many of our featured players, between our staff, and just anything in general, most of the event staff. We decided to not section off and make our own Forbidden Limited list. We decided to let people play the cards that are in the current format to make it more to make it continue and show relevance. Because if you have a match you go to and you don't play 6 cents, when you have a match that you are not able to go play 6 cents.
I don't think that argument makes any sense, but
honestly, I would have rather just seen the card
yeah,
going.
like,
but the general consensus was to let people,
I mean,
in the end, was to let people play the cards that they have.
I know people made that argument, but games where 6 cents is not, it's not a card that makes a big difference in the game in the sense that it's a themed card or a unique card that would otherwise change the way the games are being played. 6 cents is just 6 cents. It's just played, and it's just like playing in the Dark Ages. So, anyway, I'll stop my nonsense on that.
All right, so it looks like he made is that Evil Swarm Thanatos, I believe,
Looks like,
which is unaffected by
yep.
monster effects.
Yep. So. So you have end phase and an MST in his main phase, so we can set a 5th back row, of course. I mean, when you draw 6 cards, that's kind of what happens.
Yeah. There's just so much advantage here at this point. There's not much to do. I do give Robert props for actually continuing to play it out instead of just scooping it up and going to game 3. There are many players that I've seen out there that as soon as 6 cents is resolved, they'll just go to the game. They'll go to the next game because they think that there's no way that they can come back.
Yeah, that'll me. I'm surprised he didn't detach it with Ophion first, but I guess it's a move point. Perhaps he checked and had all of his targets somewhere else. That was an unfortunate occurrence.
Absolutely. Well,
we were just having a great...
We are going into game 3 now.
Yeah, unfortunately, but... That is officially the first 6 cents that we've seen resolved and hit a 5 or 6 here on the live stream, which is just unfortunate. Just unfortunate. But it looks like both players are going to quickly shuffle up and jump right into game 3. We still have over 20 minutes left in the 3rd round with additional time, of course, for these feature match players. So plenty of time for this 3rd game to be played. That was a quick, swift, open Ophion, hit 6 off, 6 cents, summon Rescue Rabbit.
Absolutely. So, well, let's just see if this is another ignorant game, or let's see if we can get a good old skillful game here at the ARG.
We've officially eclipsed 700 players, so I'd like to thank all 709 players from all across the globe joining in with Joe Giolando and Kaylin Nelson here, bringing you live coverage of the ARG Worcester Circuit Series. Of course, our 3rd installment of the Circuit Series, and the first time we've been able to give you live commentary from the 1st round. So it looks like if we just jump right in here to game 3, Robert Boyajian going first after that just unfortunate 1st game, or 2nd game rather. Opening up with sword, so he's fantastic position here, opening up with sword, exactly what you wanted.
He's got a pretty solid opening hand.
It looks like it, yeah. So Searching off Tempest, of course. So it'll be interesting to see if he searches a tuner or another copy of Tempest. Let's see what we have here. Searches out that second copy of Tempest, absolutely. Just going to be very methodical with his decision-making process here. It looks like he has a handful of trap. He has at least 3 back rows. So let's see if Andrew has opened up with an ideal opening 6. Looks like he has a Lower Darkness, absolutely fantastic opening. A Lower Darkness, one of my favorite cards of all time. And now those are 2 strong cards to draw into. So he'll banish, looks like a Kirkion, and summon a Rescue Rabbit. And use Rescue Rabbit's effect. So an ideal opening hand for Andrew Irons here. Uses the Lower Darkness, filter out the Kirkion, which would have been nice now, but otherwise would have been dead. Allow him to draw into the Rescue Rabbit. So fantastic, fantastic for him.
So there's a lot of damage on the board if he decides to attack. That is essentially half of Robbie's life points right now.
Absolutely. So let's see if he has the wherewithal to attack. Risk me effort. No, he's going to go right into an Exceed Summon. So I guess Robert might put him to the test here. I don't know if he has a response here, but let's see. Up.
Here comes the
Skill Drain. Let's see if he has Pandemic. So, I mean, see, the thing with this is he's going to have to search out, presumably, another copy of Pandemic. And the Skill Drain is going to make it so that on Robert's turn.
He could go for the trap card, the Terminus, which it looks like he is going for.
Yeah, but on Robert's turn, Ophion could go back to not having an effect unless Andrew wanted to use Pandemic at a opportune time to shut things off. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. So Robert probably took, what, the 25-50 from Julie. Trying to update those life points for you right now.
So, and it looks like he did have another Pandemic in hand, so he is starting the turn off by playing Pandemic to keep him from being able to play big monsters.
So we'll see what happens here. Now, Boyajian set a card. That's interesting. I mean, with the skill drain up, the Fossil Dyna is made useless. So I'm curious to see how this works, or what that might have been. I wasn't quite able to check. It is, yeah. So we attacking to a Flamebell Guard. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Perhaps trying to fill the graveyard up. Being able to somehow special summon a Unity monster. So now he's banishing Guard and... I don't know, he's pitching Redox for Guard. That's a very interesting play. I'm curious to see where this is going. And then, oh yeah, fantastic. Yeah, now he's going to banish Redux and...
I think it's double Redux.
Double the Redux. He must have a third in his hand or something. Or this is just the play he has to make. So to summon Tempest. Oh yeah, he's... So
it's going to be a huge drop in card advantage for Robbie. He's not going to get those searches off of Redux.
I think his main problem here is Pandemic's about to be chained, making it so skill drains negated. Let's see what Andrew does. Quick clarification with the judge. They just called on over for a quick question. Oh, chain Pandemic. Let's see if he has something like Return from the Different Dimension. That would be huge right now. Oh, does it resolve? Oh, no, it's still in the chain. Robert has yet to allow it to resolve, so he's got to think here. It's tough. He's going to chain XYZ Encore to the Ophion. Yeah, it's a very fantastic play here.
And there's nothing else that can be responded with in that chain.
Yeah, absolutely. So the chain is now over. XYZ Encore resolve. Yeah, fantastic. Bring back just one copy. Oh, yeah, just shifting that to defense mode. Yeah, absolutely.
The good news is that his his Terminus is still live, but there's a return trap stun on the field at this point. So
Are we sure that Robert has those two?
that's what people in the chat have been saying pretty consistently is return trap stun.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that he does have trap stun because I saw that in his opening hand.
Okay. So yeah, it's a
But
very interesting
return
position here. So he'll be attacking
very
the
well
face
could
down
be
launch.
down.
Let's see what happens here. He'll probably try to bait out the, yep. So a quick judge call just to clarify. I'm assuming if this is a cost or not now, but they'll confirm.
Sending back is cost.
Yeah,
for sure.
will be interesting, yeah.
And it's an evil storm. Send an evil storm you control.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a very awesome use of XYZ Encore. The fact that it's a quick play and can be used like that has just been unbelievable. One of the best interactions with XYZ Encore we saw in that previous play there. So you bait out the Infestation Pandemic, you chain the XYZ Encore, and you find yourself in a tremendous, tremendous position. So let's see here. The cost has been paid, and now Robert Boyajian is deciding. He's going to chain a copy of Trap Stun. To which Andrew is considering his back row. He chains, what's that? Which one is that?
The Terminus, the one that sends the 2 cards back.
Terminus. Oh, it was. Oh, I'm sorry. It wasn't. The first card he activated was.
The first card he activated was the Infestation Infection.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hand, and
Just
that's
quick
what the trap
clarification.
stun was activated in response to. So now he's using the one that banishes to return 2 cards.
So now, here's a return from the different dimension. Here it is. Yep. So he set up the trap stun return. He's going to find himself in a huge position now. Trap stun, a return to different dimension will resolve. Trap stun will go ahead and resolve and negate Andrew's traps, and he'll bring back all of these dragons. That'll go to the hand. So this is in the battle phase. So I'm not sure he'll be able to deal enough damage necessarily to win.
It's going to be a lot of damage, but it's not going to be nearly enough to kill Andrew.
So it'll be.
So he'll have another turn to do something here.
Looks like 5,600 points of damage.
Yep. And if Robbie wants to make sure that he doesn't get any card advantage off of it, then he's going to have to either stop here and just leave his big dragons on the field, or he's going to have to exceed summon. And doing exceeds and synchro summons, it's going to give Andrew cards to draw, and therefore possible chance of getting outs during the next turn.
Yeah, but what is that deck going to be able to do to come back from this point? Like, Andrew's deck is slow. It's like we talked about with the previous match, the Boyajian match. Dragon Rulers were able to establish a field. Like, what do you even do? Like, what possibly can you do? I mean, there are things. Kirkian, sure. I mean, I'm not saying there isn't, but look at that. Boyajian has a copy of Wing Blast in hand. I think he's going to be in a fantastic position. Just making a null point. So he brings out Scrap Dragon, uses Scrap Dragon. Yes, he's not even going to have to. He's going to make one special summon, and then allow Red Ox to get banished. Oh. Yeah, Trap Stun was what allowed him to use these effects under Skill Drain. So now, reinforcing the army, bringing out Kator. So the beauty of this play is now Skill Drain is back up. Andrew has to win somehow through Skill Drain. So, like I said earlier, certain amount of cards that can be drawn to get out of it, but Robert was made sure not to allow Andrew to draw too many cards.
It looks like, unfortunately, one of the cards that he has in his hand was a warning.
So it looks like he'll be banishing a few and bringing out Blaster. So yeah, Robert's just in the driver's seat here, so presumably he'll be able to pull this one out. Move on.
Also looks like we have not updated life points yet for them. Should be down 32, and he attacked with a Tempest, so that's a 24.
It was 5,600 points of damage. Yeah, 5,600 points of damage. So Andrew's only at 20. Yeah, that's it. He's just going to scoop him up. So it doesn't matter anyway.
Yep.
Robert Boyajian is victorious here at round 3 in the ARG Worcester Series, triumphant with his Dragon Rulers. We have seen Dragon Rulers win every single